We need to have a serious conversation about Reo Hatate's future at Celtic. A transfer target has broken his silence on his Champions League ambitions, and Chris Sutton has made a bold claim about John McGinn. Plus, we've got exclusive details on a Mexican striker being scouted, and the referee for this weekend's match has been confirmed. It's all happening, but first make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. There was a time when Reo Hatate was up there in terms of midfielders I've enjoyed watching over the years in a Celtic jersey. Under Ange Postecoglou, he burst onto the scene with swagger, goals, and a composure that made Scottish football look simple. He scored on his derby debut, dictated tempo in Europe, and carried himself like a player destined for a bigger stage. That version of Hatate feels distant right now, and it pains me to say it. The 3-0 Glasgow derby win at Celtic Park under Ange will be forever etched in my memory. Rio took charge that night and sent Rangers, who were then COVID champions, packing. In recent months, the Japanese international has found himself on the receiving end of serious criticism from sections of the support. Words like half-hearted and uninterested have been thrown around. Some fans believe he is mentally checked out. Others want him dropped altogether in favour of fresh legs. The frustration has been fueled by inconsistent performances, but to frame this purely as a question of effort feels too simplistic. Hatate does not look like a player who is not trying. He looks like a player struggling. The sharpness, the killer final ball, they have not been there consistently. His passing, once so effective, has at times left the team exposed. There was a time when, if he started on the bench for Celtic, it would be a notable omission. Right now, it feels par for the course. The uncomfortable truth is that Celtic and Reo Hatate should have parted ways before now. When Hatate's stock was at its highest, when he was lighting up games, scouts were circling. There was a time to maximise his value. Better forward planning in recruitment might have allowed the club to cash in at peak value and reinvest accordingly. You want to cash in on a player when fans still see it as sore to lose a player. That opportunity has passed. This is not to say Hatate cannot still produce. He absolutely can. He has the quality to grab a goal from nowhere or dictate any given match, but those moments feel less predictable now, more sporadic than defining. For Celtic, the bigger issue is squad evolution. If Hatate is no longer the dynamic force he once was, then the responsibility falls on recruitment to either re-energise the midfield or create genuine competition. Hopefully, in the short term, Oxlade-Chamberlain can offer genuine competition if he can stay fit. For me, Rio will likely move on this summer, as will a number of Celtic players who have been there for a long time. We need players with fire in their belly, ready to win and give this side energy. Rio needs some new scenery to kick on. If he gets chosen for World Cup duty with Japan and manages to score a goal or two, it could really up his value before that exit takes place. His current Celtic contract runs until 2028, so the Hoops are in the driving seat. Now for the main story, as Tawanda Maswanhais was in demand during the January window, with many Celtic supporters urging the club to make a move. He has since broken his silence on transfer links and outlined his future ambitions. He's been Motherwell's star man this campaign, playing a pivotal role in keeping them in fourth place so far. The 23-year-old has driven Motherwell's push into fourth, carrying the goal threat in a team that plays fast, expansive football. He sits top of the Premiership scoring charts with 13 goals. Across 30 domestic appearances, he has 20 goal contributions. That is not a flash in the pan. That is sustained output. His performances at AFCON only added to the noise. Maswanhais was recognised as one of the tournament's most promising talents, and suddenly the speculation gathered pace. Celtic never made an official approach, but interest was confirmed. That raised eyebrows given the lack of depth in forward areas at the time. Maswanhais can operate off either flank or through the middle. He fits the profile, quick, direct, capable of finishing. Instead, it was Anderlecht who made a late move on deadline day. Motherwell stood firm and kept their man. Now Maswanhais has addressed the attention. He said, "I think I have dealt with it quite well. My dad always taught me never to get too low with the failures and never get too high with the successes. Before I came to Motherwell, I always said I wanted to showcase my talent and really see if I can crack on. When there are more eyes on you, then you have to show something. I like that feeling." He sounds like a player who thrives on scrutiny rather than shrinking from it. He also made his longer-term ambition clear. For me, myself and my career, I do want to play Champions League football. These big European competitions, that's where I really want to strive to and make my name. That comes with time. It comes with experience. That line will not go unnoticed. While Celtic currently compete in the Europa League, they will have the chance at qualifying for Europe's top club competition should they win the race to this season's title. Maswanhais has already proven he can produce in Scotland. He has done it consistently. not in bursts. If that form continues, Motherwell will not be fending off one bid next time, they will be dealing with several. Celtic passed in January. The question is whether that decision looks sensible come the summer. In other news, the John McGinn to Celtic saga is one that many will remember, but not for the right reasons. In 2018, he made the switch to Aston Villa and hasn't looked back. Would he have developed into the same player had he moved to the Hoops? Chris Sutton has had his say. McGinn was a pivotal member of the Hibs squad that won the 2016 Scottish Cup, which caught the eye of several clubs. Celtic looked like strong contenders to win the race for the midfielder 8 years ago, only for him to end up making the permanent move to Aston Villa instead. Since then, he has established himself as a fan favourite and became club captain in 2022. It's a testament to how well he's settled into life down in England, having been part of the team that secured promotion to the English Premier League. Last season, he featured in the Champions League, the first time Villa had qualified for the tournament since its rebrand in 1992, and their first appearance in Europe's top competition in 41 years. McGinn played against his boyhood club Celtic in last season's league phase, helping the Birmingham-based side to a 4-2 win. His rise to the top has been brilliant to see, but it still leaves a what-if in the mind of some Celtic supporters. Would he have been the same player had he opted for a move to Glasgow? Chris Sutton has had his say. Speaking on the warm-up, he said, "It's impossible to answer, but yeah, I do actually. I always thought he was an intelligent player at Hibs, but he has gone down to the Premier League. You look at the success he has had at Aston Villa, the influence on the team, he's the captain, and the way he is regarded in the Premier League as a top player. This is pretty straightforward for me." In other news, Celtic have shown interest in Mexican striker Ali Avila, Celtic News understands. The Hoops could be in the market for a new permanent number 9 this summer, depending on whether they choose to trigger the future fee options tied to Thomas Kvankara or Junior Adamu following their January loan arrivals. Avila, 22, is rated highly in Mexico and has been making an impact for Querétaro since last summer's Liga MX Apertura campaign. Celtic have been tracking the forward for some time, with specialist scout Mark Cooper among those aware of his progress. The Scottish champions are also expected to watch Avila again before the summer transfer window. He has 6 goals in 10 games this season and is attracting interest elsewhere in Europe, with Standard Liège and Dynamo Kyiv also understood to be keen. Avila's contract is due to expire this summer, which could put Celtic in position to move for him on a free if they are willing to wait. Alternatively, a small fee could be enough to bring him in earlier. One potential stumbling block is Querétaro's desire to tie him down to a new deal, which could complicate any move. Wages in Mexico's top flight are thought to be competitive, and Avila may yet be tempted by a lucrative offer rather than making the jump to Europe at this stage of his career. That's all the latest Celtic news for today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one. Hail, hail.